In this video, I'm going to talk about the Pokemon who lost and won moving from Gen 1 to Gen 2. What I mean by that is this being a list of Pokemon from Gen 1 who changed, and I'll mention what they lost and gained within the transition to Gen 2. We'll begin with the Pokemon who lost, then go to the Pokemon who won during the transition to Gen 2. Most of the usual rules won't apply here since we're covering 30 of the 151 original Pokemon. And with all that said, let's jump right into this list. Starting off at number 15, we have the Quick Feline, Persian. What Persian lost when moving into Gen 2 was quite a lot. Speed-based critical hits being gone made Persian unable to take advantage of dealing high damage with its usually mediocre attack. If that's not bad enough, the loss of speed-based crits means Persian's no longer able to automatically critical hit with Slash, meaning it'll always hit with 70 damage unless an occasional critical hit happens. Another burden to Persian is that Hyper Beam now requires a turn to recharge even if it knocks out an opponent. As if speed-based crits being gone were bad enough to Persian's Hyper Beam, now it can't even knock out a strong opponent with Hyper Beam even if it wanted to. So every time Persian uses Hyper Beam against strong opponents, it'll either take multiple turns to knock them out or Persian will get knocked out first. Up next at number 14, we have the Triple Mole, Dugtrio. What Dugtrio lost when moving into Gen 2 is quite bad too. Speed-based critical hits being gone made Dugtrio unable to deal far higher damage with its usually average attack, making its best moves like Rock Slide and Earthquake not do much unless they're super effective. Speaking of best moves, Dig's power being lowered from 100 to 60 meant Dugtrio won't be able to hit hard with one of its defining moves anymore. Another whack to Dugtrio is no longer being able to auto-crit with Slash, meaning it'll always hit with 70 damage and usually take many hits to knock out strong opponents. Dugtrio's so frail that it'll get knocked out more than often since it can't critical hit often with moves anymore. Next on the list at number 13, we have the Raging Bull, Tauros. What Tauros lost when running into Gen 2 was very much. Thanks to the new special split, Tauros' good 70 special was split into a decent 70 special defense, but a pitiful 40 special attack. Because of that, Tauros can't utilize its special coverage, meaning it couldn't use Blizzard, Ice Beam, Fire Blast, or Thunderbolt anymore. Another blow to Tauros was the loss of speed-based critical hits, meaning it couldn't inflict great damage with the same type normal moves anymore. It also doesn't help that even if Tauros knocks out an opponent with Hyper Beam, it still has to recharge. When moving into Gen 2, Tauros got whipped even harder when it couldn't learn Shadow Ball to make ghosts less troublesome. Tentacruel's amazing 120 special was split into 120 special defense and a middling 80 special attack. Thanks to that, Tentacruel can't hit nearly as hard as it used to, even with its same type water moves. Also, Tentacruel's tangled up because of Wrap being unable to immobilize the opponent. Instead, it'll just trap the opponent and do residual damage every turn while the opponent can do whatever move they want. This is a big loss to Tentacruel because it used to make great use of Wrap to stun its targets, but now it can't anymore. Next up at number 11, we have the Pitcher Flower, Victreebel. It lost a lot of size when placed into Gen 2's environment. Again, because of the new special split, Victreebel's great 100 special was split into 100 special attack and 60 special defense. Because of that, Victreebel can't withstand special attacks nearly as well as it used to. Also similar to Tentacruel, Victreebel can't immobilize targets with Wrap due to the move now trapping opponents while they're not stunned at all, leaving Victreebel to be a sitting target. Another cut to Victreebel is the loss of speed-based crits, making Victreebel unable to critical hit with Razor Leaf, which always makes it hit with 55 damage unless occasional critical hits happen. Up next at number 10, we have the Vine Ball, Tangela. What Tangela lost when being placed into Gen 2 was huge. Because of the new special split, Tangela's once great 100 special was split into 100 special attack and 40 special defense. Now Tangela can't withstand special attacks nearly as well as it did in Gen 1. Also, Tangela can't immobilize targets with Bind due to the move having the same exact downgrade Wrap received. Now it traps opponents while not immobilizing them at all. Didn't say this about Victreebel, but another thing that twisted up Tangela is Sleep being downgraded. Sure, Sleep in the new generation lasts about 6 turns, but the foe attacks on the turn they wake up. Next up at number 9, we have the Egg-shaped Healer, Chansey. What Chansey lost when being sent to Gen 2 was quite a lot. Thanks to the new special split, Chansey's once great 105 special was split into 105 special defense and a pitiful 35 special attack. Now Chansey can't utilize its special coverage to the fullest, meaning it can't make good use of Blizzard, Ice Beam, Bubble Beam, Fire Blast, Psychic, Thunderbolt, or Solar Beam anymore. The best Chansey could do is use Soft Boil to heal within battle or outside of battle, or if it could withstand a physical hit, retaliate with Counter. Thanks to those changes, Chansey's nowhere near as impactful in Gen 2 as it used to be in the game prior. Up next at number 8, we have the Angry Sea Snake, Gyarados. When swimming to Gen 2, Gyarados lost quite a lot. Because of the new special split, Gyarados' once good 100 special was cut into 100 special defense and 60 special attack. Thanks to that, Gyarados can't utilize its same type water moves, let alone make good use of its coverage in Blizzard, Ice Beam, Thunderbolt, or Fire Blast anymore. It also doesn't help that even if Gyarados knocks out an opponent with Hyper Beam, it still has to recharge, letting opponents get a free hit on Gyarados. Next up at number 7, we have the Ancient Sea Snail, Omastar. When revived for Generation 2, Omastar became a bit weaker in its new life. Thanks to the special split, Omastar's once great 115 special was cut into 115 special attack and 70 special defense. Because of that, Omastar can't withstand special attacks quite as well as it did in Gen 1. It can't even make good use of Substitute due to its low special defense, and it also doesn't help that Omastar doesn't have recovery. Up next at number 6, we have the Vengeful Fox, Ninetales. It has quite a lot to be vengeful about this time due to what it lost moving into Gen 2. Because of the special split, Ninetales' once great 100 special was split into 100 special defense and 81 special attack, making Ninetales unable to utilize the same type fire moves the same as it did earlier. Another thing working against Ninetales is Fire Spin having the same effect as Wrap or Bind, being unable to immobilize the opponent and just trapping them instead. This is another problem for Ninetales because it used to make great use of Fire Spin to stop targets from moving. Next up at number 5, we have the Sleepy Taper, Hypno. Its act from before couldn't work as well when moving into Gen 2. Once again, thanks to the special split, Hypno's once amazing 115 special was split into 115 special defense and 73 special attack, making Hypno's same type psychic moves far weaker than earlier. Even if Hypno can get the elemental punches, it still won't hit hard with them due to other psychic types utilizing them far better. Up next at number 4, we have the Crazy Spectre, Haunter. Its scare tactics from earlier have been worked around by Gen 2, and that's again due to the special split. Haunter's once terrific 115 special has been cut into 115 special attack and a bad 55 special defense, making Haunter unable to laugh off special attacks it used to get hit by. Another thing making Haunter not as spooky is that it can't learn any of the elemental punches, making Haunter rely on hidden power for much needed special coverage beyond just Psychic or Thunderbolt. Next at number 3, we have the Royal Crab, Kingler. When crawling to Gen 2, Kingler wasn't given a warm welcome at all. When speed-based critical hits were removed, Kingler can no longer auto-crit with Crab Hammer, making its terrible 50 special not hit as hard anymore unless it deals out the occasional critical hit. Another thing burning Kingler's shell is Hyper Beam's downgrade. Even if Kingler knocks out an opponent with Hyper Beam, it still has to recharge anyway, letting any special attack knock it out in the next turn. Up next at number 2, we have the Hypnotoad, Poliwhirl. What made Poliwhirl not as hypnotizing is a handful of things, and I bet you won't guess what. Yup, it's the special split, I know, a big shocker. Amnesia used to greatly boost special attack and special defense both in Gen 1, due to special attack and special defense being one singular stat. But with the special split, Amnesia only greatly boosts special defense, making Poliwhirl unable to do good with its same type water moves, as well as its best coverage in Blizzard, Ice Beam, or Psychic. Last and most unfair of changes, we have the Bully Beetle, Pinsir. Seems like Pinsir got bullied hard when moving into Gen 2, and that's due to a lot of things. One thing being speed-based crits getting removed from the game. It made Pinsir unable to auto-crit with Slash, making it always hit with 70 damage unless the occasional critical hit happens. Another thing crushing Pinsir is the Hyper Beam downgrade. Even if Pinsir knocks out an opponent with Hyper Beam, it still has to recharge next turn, making revenge sweeping a difficult task. If that wasn't bad enough, Pinsir can no longer immobilize targets with Bind since the move was heavily downgraded. So now that I finished talking about 15 Pokemon that lost when transitioning to Gen 2, let's starting off at number 15, we have the K9 legend, Arcanine. It gained a good bit when brought to Gen 2, and the special split is part of it. Arcanine's formerly middling 80 special was split into a great 100 special attack and 80 special defense, letting Arcanine make great use of its same type fire moves as well as the newly dark type Bite. Another great move given to Arcanine is Extreme Speed, letting it hit hard against most opponents while inflicting good damage and hitting first. It also receives Safeguard to be immune to status conditions during battle, which is especially helpful for Arcanine. Up next at number 14, we have the Bonehead Brute, Marowak. It gained a lot when adapting to Gen 2, and again the special split helped it out. Marowak's bad 50 special was split into 50 special attack and a good 80 special defense, letting Marowak withstand special attacks far better than it did before. When held items were introduced into Gen 2, Marowak gained an item exclusive to it called the Thick Club, which doubled its physical attack in battle. Every time Marowak had the Thick Club, its attacks went from average to extremely powerful, making Marowak a devastating force to be reckoned with. Fun fact, when Marowak holds a Thick Club and uses Swords Dance just one time, its attack reaches the endgame stat maximum to 999, so it might be able to sweep much of the Elite Four. Next up at number 13, we have the Mean Putrid Pile, Muk. It was given a good bit when dumped into Gen 2, and you won't guess what helped it. That's right, Muk's mediocre 65 special was split into 65 special attack and a great 100 special defense, letting Muk be a powerful mixed tank. Another great move given to Muk is Sludge Bomb. It might be resisted by many opponents, but it still has a high chance to inflict poison. Up next at number 12, we have the Ninja Mantis, Scyther. What it gained when flying into Gen 2 was amazing. Scyther's really bad 55 special was split into 55 special attack and a good 80 special defense, making Scyther able to take special attacks a lot better. Something else helping Scyther is wing attack being increased from a pitiful 35 power move to a decent 60 power move, making wing attack a viable same type move. Another move helping Scyther a lot is Baton Pass, letting Scyther boost with Swords Dance or Agility first, then pass those boosts to another teammate. Next up at number 11, we have the Ancient Dragon, Aerodactyl. It was given a lot when being revived for Gen 2, and surprisingly it wasn't the special split helping this time either. Similar to Scyther, Aerodactyl benefited from a much stronger wing attack, letting it be a viable same-type move. Another thing given to Aerodactyl was Earthquake as coverage, letting it finally do great damage against far stronger opponents. It also received Ancient Power as an extra same-type move. While Ancient Power won't hit enemies too hard, it's still helpful for Aerodactyl regardless. Up next at number 10, we have the first pseudo-legendary, Dragonite. What it gained wasn't much, but it's still great regardless. Again, similar to Scyther, Dragonite benefited from a heavily buffed wing attack, making it a great same-type move. Another thing Dragonite gained was type-based dragon moves, especially getting the extremely powerful Outrage to bolster its good special attack to greater heights. Next up at number 9, we have the Parental Boxer, Kangaskhan. It was given a good bit when moving to Gen 2, and you won't guess what it got. Again, Special Split made Kangaskhan's useless 40 special change into 40 special attack and a good 80 special defense, helping Kangaskhan get a second wind easier. Another thing benefiting Kangaskhan was Shadow Ball as coverage, finally letting it do great damage against psychic types, and even giving it another option against ghosts outside of just Earthquake. Up next at number 8, we have the overrated reptile, Charizard. What it gained was quite a lot, and it helped with its overrated reputation. Special Split turned Charizard's average 85 special into a great 109 special attack and 85 special defense, giving Charizard much stronger firepower, pun intended by the way. Another thing helping Charizard is a much stronger wing attack, letting Charizard hit with its other type. Yet another thing helping Charizard out is getting Belly Drum via breeding. Despite Belly Drum cutting the user's HP in half, it's like doing 3 Swords Dances in one turn. That move alone lets Charizard become a high-risk, high-reward sweeper in all of Gen 2. Next up at number 7, we have the super powerful Psychic, Kadabra. Despite being affected by the Special Split, Kadabra is still very good regardless. Special Split turned Kadabra's great 120 special into 120 special attack and 70 special defense. So what did it gain that made it a winner? Well, via TM, Kadabra was able to learn all 3 elemental punches as much needed coverage. Fire Punch helping Kadabra do good against steel types, Ice Punch helping Kadabra hit hard against bulky dragons, and Thunder Punch has extra coverage against strong water types. Might not sound like much, but those TMs alone helped Kadabra not fold to much stronger targets. Up next at number 6, we have the Rotund Bear, Snorlax. What helped it was the Special Split once again, turning Snorlax's middling 65 special into 65 special attack and a great 110 special defense, making Snorlax a stronger roadblock. Another thing helping Snorlax's access to Shadow Ball is coverage, finally letting Snorlax hit Psychic types super effectively. Another thing helping Snorlax is access to the Defense Curl and Rollout combo, allowing it to be a more imposing force. The biggest buff of all for Snorlax was access to Sleep Talk, allowing one of Snorlax's best moves to be used at random while it's asleep. Snorlax is such an imposing force that not even sleep can stop it, letting it be the strongest Pokemon in all of Gen 2. Next up at number 5, we have the Snow Queen, Jynx. It was given something quite helpful when moving to Gen 2, but what could that be? Of course it was the special split yet again, splitting Jynx's already good 95 special into a superb 115 special attack and a great 95 special defense. That alone makes Jynx a formidable special glass cannon. Up next at number 4, we have the High Voltage Orbs, Magneton. Despite the special split affecting it, Magneton still proved to be great anyways. Magneton's great 120 special was split into 120 special attack and 70 special defense, so how's it a winner here again? Well, when the 2 new types were introduced into Gen 2, Magneton gained one of those as a secondary type. From Gen 2 onwards, Magneton was changed into an electric steel type, allowing Magneton to withstand far more attacks and even gain an immunity, though at the price of 2 new weaknesses. Next up at number 3, we have the rabbit monster, Nidoking. Might not seem like much, but the special split turned Nidoking's mediocre 75 special into 85 special attack and 75 special defense, making Nidoking's special coverage decent. Another thing Nidoking gained was access to Shadow Ball, allowing it to finally punish Psychic types for vaporizing it earlier. Those buffs alone make Nidoking a better mixed attacker than before. Up next at number 2, we have the Mirror Clown, Mr. Mime. What it gained moving into Gen 2 was quite interesting. Some of it was from the special split once again. It's already good 100 special being split into 100 special attack and a great 120 special defense, letting Mr. Mime be another strong special glass cannon. The biggest buff Mr. Mime gained was access to Baton Pass, allowing it to pass its screens and substitutes to other teammates, especially so they can benefit from its great support moves. Saving an interesting one for last, we have the bumpy fire duck, Magmar. Can you guess one thing it gained? I bet you don't know what it is. It's a special split, changing Magmar's decent 85 special into a great 100 special attack and 85 special defense, allowing Magmar to be a decent mixed attacker. Another great thing Magmar gained was access to Thunder Punch, allowing Magmar to finally have a reliable way to deal with annoying water types that threatened it before. Magmar was also helped by access to Karate Chop, letting it hit both new types super effectively along with having a better way to deal with rock types. Finally, we finished covering Pokemon who lost and won moving from Gen 1 to Gen 2. It's quite remarkable how much different Pokemon is without critical hit chances being determined by speed, and especially remarkable how some Pokemon were hindered by the special split while others benefited from it. However, thanks to Johto and Hoenn running on totally different Game Boys, there's many Pokemon who couldn't make it to Hoenn. Despite that, I'm still going to cover the Pokemon who lost and won moving from Gen 2 to Gen 3, and it'll be interesting to see which ones excelled during the generational shift. Hey look, that's all I got for now. If you enjoyed my analysis on the top 15 losers and winners moving from Gen 1 to Gen 2, please give it a like or comment telling me what you enjoyed the most about this video. Until next time, have a good day.